All right, I started it recording. Everybody say hi to Palmer. Hi, Palmer. Okay. And we'll move it so he can see what's on the screen. Okay, so before we do that kind of stuff, we've got some film school stuff to talk about. I've got some good news. The other thing I wanted to show you, I got a. Okay, so I went out. My old iPad was getting old. My husband needed an iPad that was newer than the one that he was using, which was super old. So so basically, I sold to his company my iPad 4 and upgraded and went ahead and just invested the money in an iPad Pro. Please feel free to come and grab seats if you'd like some chairs. I promise it'll be. All right, so we're up on there. Okay, so this is an iPad Pro, which means this one's got 256 gigabytes. I went ahead and went with the biggest one. I went and took a look at the different types of iPads, and basically the newer iPad Air that they just came out with is meant to be kind of an all-purpose device as opposed to one that's a real good workhorse for doing the kinds of things we like to do. So it looked like the Pro was the one I had to go with because they said that it had a RAM and a video card kind of type setup inside of it that was meant for things like video and for film. So a couple of things. For those of you that may be running with Filmic Pro, which you can, I've got up here.
Crystal clear.
Crystal clear, exactly. I've got it set up to be 4.3 instead of 16.9 so that we can use it up there. But it's got some cool new features I wanted to show you, which means I need to move this so that Palmer, so that you can see what we're doing. So we're going to be filming and filming. I know, he has to be so difficult. He's just so special. Okay, all right, so this way he can see the screen. Okay. So, and we can be sticking our tongue out at Palmer while he's not around. Okay, so one of the cool features of this.
Wait, we're recording a recording?
Yes.
While recording.
Which is mirroring from a device onto another device. Exactly. All right, so I wanted to just real quickly show you some really awesome new things that you can do with Filmic Pro if you're running with Filmic Pro. So the first thing is you can still do like you normally do by moving the circle for exposure, and you can still move the square for focus, and you can still tap them and lock it in, and then you don't have to worry about it trying to change up when you're panning across a room. But one of the cool things you can do is with your thumbs, you can swipe in from each side, and suddenly you have fine control by sliding up and down. So you no longer have to find a place inside the scene that's, okay, this is the brightest part, so I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to try to put it kind of in the middle so that we get a good brightness across the whole screen. You can actually make that decision and say, I need this to be darker, I need this to be a lot brighter. The other thing is you can also do the same thing with focus. So if you'll look on the screen, you can see that the tabs on my notebook are not particularly in focus right here. If you tap on the screen once you've got everything set up, it automatically locks it into position, which is why both of those were red. But like, watch to see how it comes into focus. Right? So you can actually fine tune it, and then when you're happy with it, you tap the center of the screen and everything is locked. And again, it won't change as you're panning. A couple of other cool features is by pressing the A at the bottom of the screen, you can see we've got some new things that come up. These are tools that show you while you're filming whether or not you're filming everything that you need to be filming. So you've got these zebra stripes are overlaying on areas where you might be losing some data because they're too bright. This next one is another way of showing you exactly the same thing. This one right here is kind of cool, and I don't know if you can see the green edges of everything. If you see like around the paper, you can see it most. You see the blue and green there? What that's doing is that's showing you, and the edges also of the notebook, that's showing you where your focus is. So you can actually put somebody in front, and you can actually play with that focus while this overlay is up. It's not going to record that in the feature, and you can see exactly where you're focusing. All of that is super neat, and it's a good way to make sure that everything works properly for you. So I thought that was kind of cool. The other thing that's really super awesome is They've now got it so that you can monitor the audio through a pair of headphones. Okay, so these are my Bluetooth headphones. I've got the capability of taking my microphone. I've got the right cords to be able to plug that into an iPhone, which is what we're using right now for this video that we're doing for Palmer. But what I would be able to do is, let's say I was recording, let's say that was our camera for setting up for alien ducks. What I would be able to do is make sure my headphones were synced with it, and everything that comes through the microphone is going to come through my headphones. You got to use it yesterday. How was that?
It worked well. The only thing I really didn't like was that while you could hear it without the headphones, and it just felt like it was echoing, and that kind of threw me off at times.
And I mean, when we assisted the middle school yesterday with helping to film their musical production. So you're right, I think that might have had something to do with the fact that we were in a space where everything was kind of echoing anyway. And essentially what we were doing was we were recording the sound inside the gym, which was going from the microphones to the speakers in the ceiling, out into the room, into our microphone, through our headphones. I noticed that before everything got going, I was actually picking up through the headphones, picking up what they were talking about behind the curtain on stage. So it was almost like, those parabolic mics where you can spy on people. It was a little bit like that. So these are some super, super cool features. I can see us this summer as we are filming. I can totally see us I've got a boom pole for this microphone. So we're gonna have somebody that's booming the mic in close, right? Who will be probably using a pair of headphones to be able to monitor the sound, to make sure, that's the way that you make sure that you're getting good sound, because that's the number one thing that messes up videos when you try to do them is you can't hear what's going on. And it's really tough. I've tried to go back after the fact and sync up what's not, have somebody reread the lines, which they do in movies all the time, but they have people that are a whole lot better at it than I am, and it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work to do that. So that's one of the cool things. I'm not sure if I can do this while this other camera is recording, but here's another thing, and this is one of the reasons I got this. There's another app that Filmic has called Filmic Remote. And I don't think I'm going to be able to actually show you this while I'm recording, but we're going to give it a shot. What Filmic Remote will allow us to do is have somebody holding onto this iPad that is close, kind of close by, not next to, but in close proximity to the person that's operating the camera. You can actually see what's going on through the camera and even make adjustments if you had to from the iPad. So it connects to the camera. You see on that little screen exactly what the camera is doing, and you can move around the focus points and the exposure. So you can literally have a camera operator whose only job is making sure that the framing of the scene is exactly right, and you can be sitting back and you can be like, okay, the focus is not quite right, and you can put the focus and lock it. You can even, you can't really tell because it's a black screen because you're not getting anything from another camera, but you can see off to the right where it says minimum, maximum, and it's got different, those are actually magnifications. You can actually do it so that you can zoom in. You can't adjust where the camera's looking. You have to be in communication with that person. But I mean, you can make it go full screen, and you can actually start it and stop it recording remotely. So, and you can actually do that with more than one phone. So you could literally have two people that were filming and you can switch back and forth. It uses like a Bluetooth kind of thing. So you're communicating with two other devices. I think you can do up to 4, and you can actually switch back and forth and make some adjustments on the fly. So that's super cool. I'm not sure if it's, how many of you guys have noticed what they're using at Chick-fil-A when they're taking your order?
What? I don't go to Chick-fil-A.
When you go through the drive-thru now, when they're taking your order, they've got iPad minis, and they've got these things that stick up, right? I can't have the photo on the other camera, so I can't show it to you, but there's I got the website. of where they do it, and for $30, we can actually get something that will shield the screen from the sun. So we could actually be filming outdoors, using Filmic Remote, being able to see the screen really well because it's covered. The guy at the drive-thru said it also helps keep it from overheating, which is kind of cool as well, because our devices have a tendency to overheat a good bit if we're filming a lot, especially outdoors. So all of this stuff working together is going to be like really super neat. So I'm really excited about us getting to do this. So let's go ahead before we do our green screen stuff, and let's talk about our film this summer. Are you guys gonna sign up for the basic course this summer? Maybe the basic mobile filmmaking. I hope you do. I hope you do. And you've come to a couple of these, so you know if you felt like you desperately wanted to be around on a day that we were filming, we might use you guys as like production assistants, right? We might could use for extras. So is your brother down with
I've talked to him about it,
participating?
and he's like, yeah, sure.
What
Nice.
is they gonna do now?
Okay, so all right,
He's
so
sidekick.
let me
Oh, we don't.
let me see if all right. So we needed our two main characters, of course, were the character Vivian. Positive. I'm not positive I still have her photo.
Is that an Insanity Wolf meeting?
No, actually, this is a bottle opener I got in Canada.
Oh, that's cool.
I just thought that was kind of awesome. These are my trips for. You know you're in Canada when these are the kinds of cautions that you get near the trailheads. That's awesome. That was super awesome. Okay, I saw whales and bald eagles.
It's funny how bald eagles are
See any
depicted in other
Canadians?
American.
I saw Canadians. Okay, so Betsy said. Betsy said the character of Xander needed to wear glasses, so I found an app and threw stickers on them. So you said CJ, right? Okay. So CJ is going to be our main lead character. He's 11.
He
so
looks taller than he
he's-
really is in the picture.
And that actually is going to be perfect. Does that make sense? Because I think some of the fun of our script is the fact that the hero is the 8-year-old girl, and her sidekick is going to be a scared, kind of nerdy, who's sticking 11-year-old who's sticking by this 8-year-old girl because she can protect him from the monsters, right? So CJ, and then this is Claire. She's 8 years old. She was in the Sound of Music. Yes. I mean, doesn't she? And she's got a big bow in her hair. I mean, doesn't she just look as cute as she can be? To see her be. Yes. So we have our leads cast. We don't yet know how many extras we're gonna need. I thought that was funny. That's a stuffed animal. You walk by.
Oh.
What? Okay. So yeah. So that part is good. So we don't have. I guess I'll do that up there. You can't see us, Palmer. You just have to listen.
Just look at the apps. They're rather interesting.
Look at the apps. These are my great photography apps. Okay, let me.
It's just writing them all
I
down.
know. Now you're riding the mop. Yes, that's what we need to call this. It's just riding the mop. I'm gonna drop it a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm still working on the script. One of the things is that that first page, that first action sequence. I've decided that since you guys are so in love with the playground scene I came up with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that initial scene and let that be the way we kind of introduce the characters and make it a playground scene instead of just a random out in the woods kind of scene.
It shows her just like beating them all up. Vivian.
We're gonna need to get permission from the mayor for us to use the playground. I think the playground on 39, the rec center, the rec playground. Anyway, you may have seen it.
Chelsea Park?
You may have seen it. Yeah, it's a Chelsea Rec Park. It's
We
where
were
the
literally
softball
there.
fields are.
Yeah,
and-
we were literally there yesterday.
Okay, so I'm thinking that playground has got some pieces that are high enough. It's also got on maybe two sides, it's got woods, so we could still do the pursued through the woods aspect of that, running, and then have them burst out into that opening. And if we if we keep the angles just right, we won't see cars, we won't see parking lots, and all we'll have to do is just make sure that when we film that, we probably film that earlier in the morning, maybe when it's less likely to have some little kids brought out there, and then have somebody, I mean, I don't expect that scene is gonna take so long to film that we can't just say to people, hey, can you give us like 15 minutes, you know, to finish up. So, but we do need to get permission to do that, because we're gonna have to get permission from everything. All right, so, I'm trying to see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, Palmer 5, Wyatt is 6, and then Hayden 7. I'm anticipating 7 people working on this, unless I don't know. Do we have is the other Bella interested at all in shooting the film?
Last time I talked to her, she was still in bed.
She's been on trips. I've been watching on Instagram. All right, so I'm thinking we're probably going to have right around 7 as the people that are working on it. Do you guys have any, I've been making a list this morning of some different things that I thought that we are gonna need to be able to, before we get into like roles, one of the things I wanted to tell you, and this is good news. In December, when I went to the Chelsea Kiwanis meeting, they asked me to do a presentation on a minor film school, and I did the presentation, and the guy that's the treasurer, and I don't know if you guys know, the Kiwanis raises money so that it can turn around and put it into the community to help the lives of kids. So they make lots of donations to the local schools, they make donations to the library's summer reading program, they make donations at King's Home. It's all just, you know, philanthropic. They do a pancake breakfast. I did a commercial for their pancake breakfast to help them out. But anyway, they came to me and they said, if you know, we would like to support a minor film school. So if you have a need for us to make a contribution, let us know. So as we're getting a little bit closer, I emailed the guy that's in charge of the money and I said, hey, you mentioned this back in December. What did you guys have in mind? And he said that their most recent fundraiser, which was Fire at the Foothills, did super well for them, and that he wanted me to give him an amount that I felt like would make a significant, I think his words were significant impact on our thing. The basic class doesn't really need any. I think it's going to be bigger than that, but the basic class doesn't really, right? The library is still going to support the program because we're doing it through them. They're still going to pay for things like, you know, the prizes that we gave out at the Minor Film Festival, right? So I'm excited about what I would like to do is I'm going to start coming up with some ideas, and then I have to come up with a number, which is kind of scary because you don't want to come up with a super big number and have them go, yeah. I have already checked with the library to make sure that the librarian is good with us doing this, because I said I don't want to approach the Kiwanis, and since we're affiliated with the summer reading program, have it decrease the amount of money that it goes to her to deal with things. And she said she didn't think that was what would happen and to go ahead. So what I'm excited about is the idea of, I'd like to at the end, I'd like to see about pricing production t-shirts for everybody that works on the production. I'm not talking about like the extras. Our 2 main people probably, because they're going to put a little more work into it, but definitely the advanced students that are going to be working on this start to finish. Maybe even having pricing like 11x7 movie posters for Alien Ducks, right? I mean, you know, at the end of a theater production, everybody gets posters and everybody signs the posters, and then you've got your thing. So I want to do that, but I also
$1,000 in 50 years.
That's right, exactly. It'll be a collector's item one day.
Like
The first in the series.
what's her name? Vivian having a shotgun like this, really angry face. You're just kind of cowering behind her, and just big alien duck face.
It's something like
Like
that, right?
phone with him or something, just filming it.
So that could be part of the design. And if you'll recall, I designed digital posters for all of the stuff for last year. But I'm going to be shooting for figuring out how much that is and adding it to maybe $75 or $100 as our production budget. And I'm really excited about the idea that we can, in our pre-production, meetings the first couple of weeks before we get to the filming week, sitting down, looking at our script, and making some decisions about how do we want to spend this money. So it may be one of those things where it's like, yes, we love this particular, Nerf gun that we're gonna paint to be able to make it be the main weapon, but, this Nerf gun is $50 and then we'll need another, $7 in painting supplies.
Yeah.
Do we wanna spend that? If we do, if that's the big important thing, then, okay, we're gonna do that, but then that leaves only a smaller amount of money to be able to do other things, right? So those are, I'm excited about giving you guys the opportunity to really start with a budget and really make those plans and make those decisions. So just wanted to let you guys know it's not gonna all be, who's got this in their closet kind of meetings at the beginning. Okay.
Well,
Hey, hey, I'm telling you, we're gonna be raiding closets. I can promise you, we're gonna be raiding
you don't wanna
closets.
raid
You
my
can find all
closet.
kinds of stuff when you clean
You
your
go
room.
in my
Serious,
closet.
Here's
yeah,
part
right?
of it. I do not have a little sister, so I do not have tiny clothes.
Yeah, well, no,
For
I
bigger
don't,
closets.
and
We do have
that's the
tops
thing
in
is, it can be one of those things where we, somebody needs to make a trip down to the thrift store, right? To try to see if they
Get
can
some
find
old
a
suspenders
small
for-
jacket, a small jacket that looks like it's a leather jacket that we could put it on Claire, right? I mean, we've gotta think about those kinds of
Oh,
things.
exactly.
Right. Something, right? A bandolier full of Nerf darts or something, I don't know.
I have one,
Be
but it's
funny
like
if she had a
it
Girl
falls apart
Scout
really
vest.
It's a bandolier?
Yeah, like the bullet vest thing.
Yeah.
I have one, but it's like you have to be careful or else it's kind of like falls apart.
So that's what we gotta do, is I gotta finish the script. My goal is gonna be June 1st. I can't make that promise, but that's my goal, is to have it finished by June 1st and get it in you guys' hands, which gives you guys 2 weeks to be reading and kind of getting some ideas, and then we can hit our first production meeting, like, boom, we're going for it.
Bam.
Okay, so we need to really be thinking hard, and we can discuss this more on Slack, really be thinking hard about what role you guys see yourself being kind of in charge of, right? We've only got 8, so I mean, that's a real
Yeah.
good, doable core group of people, right? And I wanna give people the opportunity to see all aspects of this from start to finish. But I'd also like it to be able to have some proper credits and be able to say that the person in charge of costumes was this person, and the person in charge of, whatever, props or continuity. Well, we're all gonna be working on it, but, I want some teams.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, did you have something else?
I have a decent idea for storyline wise.
Okay, all right.
Later.
Hold on to that. My husband had an idea. He said when the adults are under the control of the ducks and are making the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, they should only be able to communicate in quacks.
Like subtitles or whatever.
Or not. Maybe we have to figure it out in context. So I think we're gonna have to, part of our budget's gonna have to be one of those duck calls, And I might be able to source that. I've got a friend that trains like dogs to go retrieve birds that, you shoot. But some of the different ideas, right, and some of these are gonna potentially overlap, right? So one thing that they usually have is somebody that's in charge of continuity. That's where if you have to film the same scene more than one time, they make sure that, the can of Coke is in the same spot. Because I don't know about you, but now when I watch movies, if they're going back and forth between two, they're filming a conversation between two people. They're gonna have one camera on one and one over here. And if you watch, sometimes you see
The lighting is different.
the lighting might be different. The
That
Coke,
can.
the Coke can keeps going like this, or it's a glass and it's like,
They change
it's
the cups out.
It's full, and then it's way down, and then it's midway, and then and you're like, the thing
Next to
is,
the
It would be
Yeah.
funny in like a horror movie or something, like a ghost movie. If
right.
Something kept moving around.
If it works with your story, then,
If it
definitely. If it doesn't, then anything that makes the viewer watch your movie and be distracted by and focus on something that you're
I
not
know that.
intending for them to focus on, that's the problem, right? So and that's what I do, is I sit there and I go, they just poured that glass of water and now it's empty. And now it's half full. And now it's a third full. And now it's 2/3 full. And all that
Now
means,
it's on.
all that means is that they've filmed it a number of times and they've picked the best ones without looking and paying attention. So a continuity person is somebody that takes pictures as you're setting up a scene, so that when you reset the scene, everything gets moved back. which gives you as an editor, when you're editing the movie, the ability to be able to pick from all the scenes as opposed to, I can't use this because we needed that cup to be there because she throws the water in his face, and now it's not there, right? You know, otherwise, if suddenly she's throwing water on somebody's face and there was never a glass of water there to begin with, your audience is asking, where did the glass of water come from?
Magic.
Yeah, I was watching a show and they had these big, huge coffee mugs sitting on the table. They were all red and then they all turned blue magically.
Yes, exactly. So there are some
True,
things
like
like if you
Stranger
don't
Things.
have a see-through glass, then it's cool because you can never tell how much water's in there, right? Or if there's any at all, you might just be pretending. Costumes are another thing, which again, for us, we're not really dealing with massive costumes, but what somebody is wearing is the costume. And so, you know, if we have a cute little shirt that we want Claire to wear when she's filming, right? We don't want to send Claire home in the shirt because what if she drinks grape juice and spills it on herself when she goes home? Now suddenly we've got a shirt. And we don't have a big budget where we can have four copies of everything, right? So even something as simple as what a person is wearing for the movie is important, and we got to make sure they're wearing the same thing, unless we have a reason for them to have changed clothes. And even if they're using their own clothes, we need to essentially get those clothes from them. They need to change into those clothes on set.
Because if they're going to be
And
playing
change
around,
back
they
out.
don't want to be covered in dirt or something.
Or maybe they're covered in dirt and you don't want to send them home in their car covered in dirt, right? So costume person would be the person that would be in charge of making sure that those things stay together, that all of CJ's things stay together, all of Claire's things stay together, whatever else we need. Locations, we're going to be having to come up with the locations, and my script is going to be trying to keep it as small as we possibly can so that it's not a huge number of locations. But you know, whoever's in charge of locations, I may put them in charge of reaching out to the mayor to see about getting the permission, you know, writing the letter and just saying, hey, I'm this person, I'm with a minor film school, this is my producer, you know, you can talk to her if you have any questions, but we need access to, you know, we need exclusive access to the playground for an hour on this date. Would that be possible for us to book it?
At that park, there is this like eerie little bridge, and that looks kind of freaky because there's a little bit of water underneath it, and it's pretty.
You're talking about on the
freaky.
walking
Yeah.
trail part? I walked on that trail one time and I found a body-shaped hole next to the thing. It was like 6 feet long.
We've got, like,
It was
two
about
of them in
this.
our
It was
backyard.
about this wide, and you look at it and you're like, that's the
Whatever.
perfect size to just put a body in. I hope I haven't found
We
something.
have woods right behind our house, and I've seen like 2 of those.
Yeah.
Which neighborhood do you guys live in?
Windstone.
Yes, actually. I was looking for somebody, we were on the job, and we were pinging a cell phone, and I found several of those in the wooded areas back behind. I bet you we're talking about the same kind of place. All right, casting, so when we get the scripts, we need to figure out, and I'm sure it'll be easy for us to find people that can be just random extras. I mean,
I've got a little
between
brother.
friends, we can find some. Camera operators,
I was just gonna say, for extras, maybe some of us could be extras as like an Easter
Just have like a
egg
cap
to
on
the
Yes.
room.
yes.
With A minor film school written on the cap.
Well, see, that's the thing, is do we want hats, do we want t-shirts? If we, if we're gonna create a budget, that's something, you know, and that may also be part of what the library can help us with, right? You know, so, camera operators, we might want an A team and a B team, right? So the A team is gonna be the main action, the B team may be all the little small things or different angles or whatever. Boom operators, we may have an A and a B team for that, so that, you know, for every camera operator, there's somebody that's gonna deal with the boom. We may have, I know Betsy's gonna be our main director, but we may need a B team director to kind of supervise the B team footage that gets done. And then of course production assistants, right? So I'd like you guys to think about it, and within the next week or two, props, that was another thing. We're all gonna be working to some extent in all of these different things, but like for instance, if we really desperately wanna do, and I'd really like to find a way to make it happen, to do an Alien Duck City where we actually set the tent up, we get the smoke machine, we get some funky
old
lighting.
bottles and
We
stuff.
need to like put things together and spray paint and, you know,
LEDs and stuff.
The LEDs, I mean, it's gonna depend on what we've got. I think hobby shops will have things like battery operated necklaces, right?
Yeah.
That we can just cut little holes and stick the little lights in different places, and then it's, I mean,
Because the fog kind of hides the effect to it.
some of it. I can also tell you, I've got a flashlight that's a UV light. So that would be some funky lights. Anything that is small that can be kind of directional, that can be just out of film, out of
Those
sight, like
book
searchlights.
lights, those little book lights that you can clip to your book, like those. I used to
Yes,
have one.
yes. So I want you guys to think about it, and I want you guys on Slack, I've set up a separate part just for our Alien Duck movie. I want you guys to be really thinking about, how can I plug in? And I want you guys to kind of try to give me an answer by the end so that I can start kind of coming up with a team. I mean, with 7 people, if we're officially at 7, if we pulled Betsy out as more of a, plug in where needed, that leaves 6, which means that we could have, basically just completely split it into A team, B team, right? Or we could divide these types of roles into 3 different things and then put partners, 2 people that will be responsible for 2 to 3 jobs, kind of a thing. So decide how you guys want us to do that, decide what you think would be a good idea, and let's start talking about it on Slack in the Alien Ducks section. All right, so flying. Let me see if I
Dun,
can
dun, dun,
see
dun,
if
dun,
I
dun,
got
dun.
that. All right.
The one time he misses class, it's gonna be the most fun
It's
one.
gonna be super fun, but that's okay. We can do this again. Don't worry. We love you, Palmer. Okay.
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Okay. Some of these people have only met you one time. Okay. All right. So this is one background that I have. I'm gonna move you, Palmer, so you can see.
Whoa!
Don't
There's
get
one
sick.
a lot
You're
like
looking at
this
the floor.
I think I remember doing.
Oh, I'm sure there probably is.
Yeah, there's
Okay, so I have about, now the sound is, forget the sound. This is like ambient inside the airplane sound with occasional,
Yeah.
would you like peanuts? Or I guess they don't serve peanuts on there anymore, but that's basically what it is. Now, that's pretty slow, so if we were dropping this in and the person needed to be flying fast, we would probably need to speed that up a little bit,
I like
right?
that it moves, because like turbulence at the front
Yeah.
kind of moves a little bit every
Yeah, because I'm literally reaching across my husband and like bracing it against, and we can use different sections. So I like the fact that there's clouds above and clouds below. So I've got 1 minute of that, and then I also have a minute over. This is the one where you hear more stuff going on inside the airplane. We actually descended through the clouds. So we come back out again, which is why I went ahead and just kept filming. Because you have to expect that your person's gonna film, go through clouds, right?
It's more realistic.
And again, this was just, I only filmed this for the activity we're gonna do today. So see, we might cut that section out and just use this part right here. Okay, so this is like, I can't remember if that's the tip of Vancouver. I can't remember if that's Vancouver Island or Seattle. It's one of those two. One of those places, which is like heaven because they have red vines in them.
I love red
Red
vines.
vines? Oh no, we're gonna have to educate you.
I love red vines and fiddlers. I got.
That's the thing though, is you're either a red vine person or a Twizzler person.
I love
If you're
it.
just a Twizzler person, you're dead to me.
I love both.
Okay. Red vines, it's red licorice, but it doesn't, it's not like black licorice in that it doesn't taste yummy. Okay, all right, so,
My great grandma totally stole black licorice because she's Italian, so they used to eat that a lot. So she still eats it.
that's, yeah.
She gets it from the Hershey brand. Twizzlers does have black licorice, and she gets it for like Easter and Christmas, and it's fun.
That's very, yeah, I do not care for that, not even a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna put, oh, you're looking the wrong way, Palmer. Get it together, Palmer. Okay, all right, so there we go. All right, so we got Palmer set up. I also got another new piece of equipment. It's actually 2 pieces of equipment. I used this to help film at the middle school, their production. I was gonna use my iPad to shoot one, and Betsy monitored for me and also made sure kids didn't knock it over while I ran around and filmed in different ways. But what this is it's a clamp and then something for holding the iPad. Now, I did run into an issue with it, which was that it has, in order to hold it, it has to hold the corners, right? The problem is that when you put it like this, so that the camera is visible, what it's covering up is the headphone jack. Which, if you're filming with this and you need the good audio, you've covered up the headphone jack. Now, I went ahead and was able to plug in. I didn't really like it because it wasn't firmly seated to really hold this really well, and I wound up using some gaff tape on the corner and just, hope that it was gonna work. But there's no way that you can put this together where you're not covering up one of those.
You're either blocking the camera or
You're either blocking the camera or you're blocking the other. Now, that's only a problem if you're trying to film with the iPad. If it's going to be used the way we're going to do it when we're making our film, where it's going to be used essentially as a monitor, like a camera monitor, this is perfect. It doesn't matter which way you put it. You can still put it that way, and you can still use the headphones and listen if you need to through what's being recorded through the camera, through the headphones. So, but today we're going to actually use it to film. And we don't have to worry about the audio because
there kind of already is audio.
yeah, there is, and I mean, we're messing around here today, so I assume we're probably gonna. I guess it's decided it doesn't want to mirror right now.
Box or something.
Say again? Yes, I'm gonna move. I'm not a box. We're gonna move a table, and that's why I left it kind of loose there. All right, so we're not going to be mirroring, so we're not going to worry about that. Now I need to just make sure I get this set up so that it's level.
The table thing went.
All right.
No, I'm afraid the table might actually break.
Okay, guys, so I'm setting this up. All right, so we've got green screen. Why don't you guys come and they don't really have, are these tables look longer than those, don't you think?
Yeah.
Same size?
Same size.
Same size. All right, guys, come over here, get this table, and let's head in this direction. Billy, come with me, and let's see. Hey, Betsy, come over here and be camera holding for this for me while the guys, just drop it. Is that wet or is that dry?
Yeah,
All right, we'll deal with it. Bella, come on over here and grab this end.
I'd rather not wait.
Yeah, watch out, hold on to it, hands on it. Betsy. Let's see, okay. There's a restroom across the hall. Somebody go get me some paper towels. All right, let's just hold this until they.
Pull that up.
I can't imagine why there's that. Keep your hand, if you will, on the device. Yes, that's what I need.
I just hate it.
That's my main.
It does when it makes you look
My
like
main
you're not
concern.
smarter than them.
I did get the Apple Care though, just in case.
Just in
You guys
Just
see
in
why I
case.
love that song.
Imagine having a kid like having a
I used
kid
to
that
like
just
this fine,
Yeah.
but then you played it one too many times.
Don't even think about the fact that it's mystery liquid.
Yeah.
It's mystery liquid. We have no idea. Let's get up here a little higher. Yeah. Totally nice and dry.
perfect fit.
That's,
All right, so
Like
lift
nothing
this.
was ever there for me.
All right.
Why does it do a little teapot thing? What the heck? It sounded like it did like the. Yeah.
Don't step on my foot, please.
All right, hang on. Let me take a look.
I'd rather not have my nail polish done off.
Yeah, it is, and I mean it's not going to be perfect. I can guarantee it's not going to be perfect, right?
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's going to be perfect, but this
No
is the
one's
closest that we've been able to do. And the reason why it's lighter, everybody kind of take a look through the screen. The reason it's lighter is the lights are up ahead. The lights are up above.
It's darker right there because
It's going directly onto this right here. Now, one idea would be,
Bring like lights or something, battery powered light.
well, I've got some, but like I don't have access to my pickup truck. There was no way I was going to be able to bring it over. All right, so I need, let's see. Okay, good. I was looking to make sure we're still filming. Okay. All right. So can I use you as my flying subject to start with, because you are lightweight.
That's the first person who's told me
We
that.
want to make sure that there's no, falling off kinds of things, right?
That'd be so bad.
Okay.
Oh!
Fly in the.
Okay. You hold on to that. I'm gonna get
That really hurt.
I'm gonna get a couple pieces of gaff tape so that we can kind of mark how far in we want to go, right?
Oh crap, this is
All right. So Betsy, I need this to be just outside the black. Look on the screen. Am I outside black?
No.
It's actually a little.
Little
there.
There you go.
Right here, I'm totally out. Okay. So we gotta stay within this. And then on this side, I'm in, right?
You're in.
Okay.
You're in. You're in. You're in. You're in. You're in.
You're in, okay.
You're in.
You're out. You're out.
Okay. All right, so we got a lot on the table. And this is shooting at 4:3. If we really want to really make it so that we can maximize most of it, we can bring it in together. I'm going to see. Now, here's the big thing. And this may help some, and I'm going to have to probably reset and move that camera back. I am aware of that. But like this, does this look more evenly lit?
Yes. Now it does. Yeah.
It's very lit.
Okay, but that's fine. That's fine, and we can use those fine controls. Now, here's the most important thing. When we're climbing on and off, we've got to be extra careful because you will pull the whole thing down on top of yourself. So
Probably not get crushed by a green screen.
I don't have insurance that covers you people. So, all right, so we have our first victim. All right, so we're trying to make her look like she's flying. Okay. Let's see. We're going, I can already, I thought about it, but again, I didn't have my pickup truck. So
We'll just
what
have
I'm going to do is I'm going to drop,
You're not trying to pull my hair out.
I'm dropping, look what I'm doing. I'm dropping the level of this, right?
Once.
Now,
But it's a joke. I
let's
don't
move
want
this back. All right, everybody come around back here and take a look.
Yeah, it looks much better.
Okay, so we've got it more evenly lit.
Somebody did that in the beard.
I'm gonna bring Palmer over so he can see.
Somebody did that.
I can't believe I'm doing this for you, Palmer. This is like crazy time. Okay. All right.
On your face.
So hopefully, let me see.
Short hair.
And see it just a little bit. Okay. All right. So
Thank you so much.
so what we're going to do is we're showing a small amount at the table at the bottom, right? So we're going to start off with this. So what I want you to do, Bella, is carefully climb up. I'm going to put you're aiming for the middle. Okay, just lay flat on your stomach. Okay. And we're going to be able to get all of you. Now just remember, if it's outside of this, we're going to. Well, no. Go back down this way. You've got more room. Keep going. All right, that's good, right there. Because we put your arms out. We were flying. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see what we got.
Kind of toss your hair
It is-
behind you.
Oh, I see. You guys are counting it from here and here. We're actually seeing a lot less, but that's okay. Well, I think.
Nice.
Just your feet and your hands cut off.
Where'd you go?
I'm in your friends.
But that's okay, that's okay, all right. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna be quiet, and I have a minute. Do we want a full minute, do we wanna try a full minute? Or do we wanna do 30 seconds?
Like 30 seconds.
Okay. All right, so 30 seconds, all right? What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull out and find focus. Take a look, guys. All right, I want you guys to take a look at this. Okay? You can see where the focus points, where the fine amounts of focus are going to be. We're gonna take
You're
that
doing
part-
good.
Take that part off, and we're gonna deal with this. And actually, we're gonna let her stay a little bit bright because the scene is pretty long, okay? All right, so everybody be quiet. Gonna bring this over here. Guys, why don't we take a minute before we do this and just give ourselves more space? I feel like we're all kind of on top of each other. Let's move that one table.
Jared,
Let's move it.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm just gonna sit like this for
Lift. Use the muscles.
There we go. And let's. Okay. All right, Palmer, we're moving.
See, I don't have to do any of the heavy lifting. How nice.
All right. So, all right. So, are you ready? All right, everybody, quiet. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and since we've got you set up that way, I'm going to switch this. Switch this back to 16. Well, no, we can't do 69, can we? All right. Okay.
Not Superman.
You're super girl. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, action. I'm just going to continue talking, even though we're going to pick it up. You know, kind of be looking around, look down, look off to your left and right.
Kind of roll around.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, we're not doing barrel rolls. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's not
No barrel
comfortable
rolls.
at all.
Come on.
All right, we're almost at 30 seconds. Keep going. All right, so we're gonna stop that. Okay. All right, so we're gonna help you down so that you can.
Oh wait.
I just realized I'm right in another camera.
All right.
That is not comfortable at all.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm going
I'm laughing
to.
during the thing though, so.
That's okay.
I blame you.
All right, why don't you guys have a seat? I'm gonna mirror it. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it where it is so that we're all set up.
See you later.
All right, we're gonna turn Palmer around.
Be socially awkward.
Just far away from the.
Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do? I have already taken the two shots I was telling you about. The two cloud flying shots. I've already loaded those into our green screen program. I've already loaded them in as FX, right? So we're going to create a new project.
What's that?
We'll do one.
Line number 12.
Say okay. We're going to import it from the camera roll. We're going to take this.
Moving my hair out of the way.
And we're importing. Okay, so because we've got an actress on the screen that's not wearing any kind of green, we should be able to pull a good key. So it says, do we want to do that? Yes. This is exactly what we're going to do. So we're picking the chosen.
What did you do to me?
What have you done? All right, hang on. So again, all right, so that's good. Then we're gonna pick another color. Let's see. You know what? We're gonna. All right. So we've got that. We're gonna say done. We're gonna let that apply, and then we're gonna do it again. But we're gonna select the color that's probably still a little bit lighter. That's underneath.
Yeah, because I see
We're
the
gonna
green.
remove more colors. So we're gonna tap down here.
Oh, okay, Brad. Oh, I'll be
All
the
right.
invisible
So
flying.
that's pretty decent. We're gonna.
Part of you is fake.
We're gonna see if we can maybe pull just a little bit more out without losing any of her arms or legs. Now, you'll notice because of, you know, white skin reflects color really good. So we've got
I know
it's a
it.
fine balance. We're still gonna have a little bit of artifacts, but there we go. If she was wearing pants and long sleeves
Yeah.
like a Superman outfit, we might only have to worry about making sure that her face was lit enough that it's not going to, not going to reflect all the green, right? All right, so that's not perfect, but it's fun. So we're going to add one of our effects.
I guess that will make it lit fire.
We'll start here.
Oh, Lord, you're evil.
And we're going to make sure that
Wow.
we're gonna move it, and we're gonna put the clouds
Bam!
back.
Right there. This looks very.
It looks very DIY. And again, if you're using a regular computer, it is honestly still a great headache. I have done stuff using After Effects and Premiere Pro, and it takes so long, which is why when you look at a movie that uses a lot of green screen work, like has anybody seen the New Guardians? The New Guardians movie?
No, I haven't.
No.
Good
I
bit
want
of,
to, but I haven't.
good bit of those. You know, which I'm assuming that when they use Gamora, they have to use blue screens, right?
Well, and
'Cause-
raccoon and.
Well, I mean, that's like, gosh, they're
Yeah, that
talking
person
to-
walking around in a gray screen
Right.
with the little like
Okay.
face on them.
So there we go.
Try this.
Now, another way to kind of make it look a little bit better, but again, making it so that it would be very, very uncomfortable for our actors would be if we had like a stool, something that was very small so that your body was not.
Oh, that's
yeah.
already
Right
bad
on.
enough.
Right?
Feels
Oh,
like
I'm
a
sure.
brick, but
I'm
I'm
sure.
very
Bella.
stiff anyway.
Our stools
Um,
have like rectangle shapes, so they're
So we could, let's go back,
the ones that have like
Let's,
the counter. The stools.
let's try it again. Let's see if we can pull a better key from that.
That'd be pretty good.
If we can push it forward in the video, because you'll notice every time her arms got low, the green
My fault, my
started
hands
to change the color of the green, right? So her shadow is gonna be one color.
Oh no.
Right there, and we'll do that. Now, okay, so this works when you've got somebody that's flying sideways across your screen. What if we wanted it to be more of a point of view, right? Like maybe
From their face.
over somebody's shoulder. We're gonna do this a couple of times. Over somebody's shoulder. What kind of footage would we need if the camera is behind somebody's back and you're just getting like shoulders, head, and what kind of footage are we gonna need? Which direction would it be going? Towards the person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be, can you think of a way you might be able to, since, most of us don't have the drones, right? Right. Selfie stick, okay. So if we
Pick up your tripod and go.
tripods can most definitely work as well. So let's see, I happen to have my selfie stick with me today.
Incoming.
So if I wanted to film that, I'm gonna want it ever so slightly up. What would be something else I would need to think about as I was filming it? Like what would be around you that you might not want?
A bird.
Bird might work actually.
What the?
If I was wanting nothing but sky and clouds, right? I might want to make sure I was in a nice open space where there wasn't a lot of trees, unless that's what you're after, going over the trees. Depending upon what you've got in the background, you might be able to put it through bushes or something, between bushes, and almost make it look like they were kind of skimming the tops. But yeah, you'd want to put that up there, and of course the problem is everything is so lightweight. One time I did my first green screen video, I wanted it to look silly. So I obviously wasn't trying to make it look really realistic, but I wanted it to look like somebody was running down the road, when in fact they were being filmed in front of a green screen. And that was me. I was doing the filming and everything else. So I filmed myself, and you're just jogging in place like this. Then what I did was I attached my camera out the back of my pickup truck. And I filmed as I drove from like Chelsea all the way down to Columbiana, because it had everything going away, right? So I'm filming this way, everything is going in this direction. You put those two together.
He's barely pacing and everything's just
Yes,
going
right,
quick.
barely doing it 50 miles an hour down the road, which I thought was gonna be extra funny. All right, so okay, so we've removed a couple of different colors, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna move this forward and pick some of that green that's underneath. I'm gonna play with the string.
Where do they even get that?
What the?
Yeah, that shirt is totally not red.
No, it's secretly green.
Yes.
Secretly, well, it's
Green
spilled,
shirt,
is what it is, it's spilled.
Bro,
So,
this guy.
you can get, even with an iPhone app, you can pull a better key if you're willing to do what we're doing here, which is you just keep trying, right? You just keep
Swimming.
picking colors.
It looks like I'm swimming kind of in blue.
Just don't get cramps.
Swimming in the
Move
sea.
it.
Well, they have to keep swimming, you might get cramps.
Sits there by himself.
So the more that we do this, the more that we pick those different colors, that's gonna be better. If we had her on a stool where we didn't have as much things for her body to block. Try this one more time. Her whole body.
Poof, invisible person.
All right.
You see a person flying, and then all of a sudden they just start glitching out of existence.
Okay.
Is there a way to film that vertically and rotate it?
You know, we should do it.
You know, like when they're filming somebody walking on the side of the building or whatever, and they're really.
The flying
Gotcha.
girl.
That's a super good question. What it really boils down, what it boils down to is whether or not the app that you're using allows you
Just
to
be
do
floating,
that.
floating.
Um,
It's a ghost.
And I can think of one that might.
Oh,
Bam.
Interesting.
I can think of a new one that might. Let's do this one and then I'll see, we can play with that. I don't particularly have a building, I have to look and see if we can grab a building.
What's that picture?
And see if we can do that. That might work.
We can film outside there on that wall.
Yeah, there's a wall right there, but that doesn't.
That's an interesting idea. Okay, so guys, the question is, would we be able to do the same thing to make it look like somebody was going up a building? That's an interesting challenge. We have 30 minutes left.
Let's try.
Now, there are all kinds of tools, yeah. There are all kinds, you're like smog. There are all kinds of tools on a desktop computer that would allow us to make this a little bit better.
And honestly, it doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't, for the fact that it's all being done on an iPad. I mean, like most of the time when I talk to people and they go, wait a minute, you can do green screen stuff on an iPad? Yes, you can.
Okay, no, watch me.
Okay, so I'm gonna, and actually what's funny is it almost feels like that one didn't turn out as well. I mean, I guess I'm looking at the bottom of the screen. We certainly have more of your shadows there, right? But I think, I don't know, I guess it's sneaking in a little bit there at the bottom. All right.
Just
Okay.
on looking out the window of an airplane, like, what are you doing?
All right, so let's think this through. I think I have an app that would allow us to rotate footage. I think I've got one. So it would be a matter of how, okay, wait a minute, you know what? Okay, now that I'm thinking about it. It all comes down to this green screen app acting funny. There is an editing app that I'm using now that will allow us to move those things. And there's another new app that that was free for a short period of time that I haven't had a chance to play with that is also supposed to have green screen capability. But you can certainly film things sideways. When we did the green screen effects with the Harry Potter portraits, that was one of the problems, was because with Betsy's photo, I think, or with her like angry Azkaban witch photo, right? I think I filmed her vertically. And when I kept trying to put it in places, it kept smushing and extending it out to be horizontal. And I could not come up with a way that would make, it was this program though that was the problem. So I think there's something about this program that only wants to do things horizontal. It doesn't give you any choice of, do I want it square, do I want it, you know, rectangular, how big. But if we wanted to film somebody going up a building, you're right, that's what we'd still ultimately have to be able to rotate it. Here's a possibility. So what if we filmed somebody being Spider-Man sideways, right, in front of the screen, and then we use this program to key it out? The big question would be if when we went to share it, if we would have any kind of, let's see, let me think. We can make this happen. I know we can make this happen.
I'm just waiting for a light bulb to go off.
Well, there's no reason you can't do it entirely horizontal, and then before you share it, you pull it into a program that will allow you to flip it, and then if it will allow you to save it flipped, then you're in business, right? Okay, we're going to use another lighter person. Would you be willing to be our Spider-Man? Yeah, you want to be our Spider-Man?
He looks like Spider-Man.
He can be Spider-Man. Okay,
It's
all
on
right.
Rolling Spider-Man.
Now,
It's actually-
I'm going to say you're going to need socks and not your shoes. So take your shoes off, right? I know he wouldn't, but you know, we don't necessarily need bare feet all over what we're doing. Okay, hang on. All right, so we're gonna go back to, and that's a great suggestion. I wasn't really sure what else we were gonna do besides flying, so this is a great idea for this. All right, so I'm gonna unlock those two. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is, all right. So I want you to just sit there for right this second. What I'm gonna have you do in just a minute, and I'm gonna have, hey guys, all right, so what I'm gonna have him do in just a minute is I'm gonna have him crawl up a little bit as though he's Spider-Man, but what I'm gonna need is I'm gonna have the big guys come, and I want you guys to be, you're gonna be holding the table completely, one on each end, because we're not gonna risk him at all right? So English, this is essentially what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna start kind of crouched like this. I want you to go a couple of steps up, you know, and just look around. Does that make sense? Okay? So, all right. Okay, so here's the thing. You probably can only come about this far, is my guess,
Be the Spider-Man you always
before
wanted
you're
to be.
out.
Spread your weight out.
All right, no, that's still in, okay. All right. So we're gonna put it back here. All right. So, let's see.
He could start out of frame, couldn't he? Like,
You
that would
could
matter.
back up just a little bit, right?
Just
All right. So I'm gonna record, right? I'll still give you some direction. I want you to climb until you're about 2/3 of the way, and then I want you to just kind of look around. Okay?
look around like, what the heck?
All right. You know what? I want you to pull your arm back. Wait till I tell you to go. Go. I want you to lengthen out so that it's a little more obvious that you're yeah. Try to get up just on your tiptoes. There you go. And then crawl a little bit further. Okay. All right. All right. Good deal. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So let's save that.
Perfect. Genius.
Save it. Okay. All right.
Genius.
So let me think of the easiest. We'll reset that if we have to. Let me think. Okay.
UAV.
All right. Yeah, it is. Let me see. Hey Betsy, come hold this door open. Let me go outside and film something for a sec.
Okay.
Hey, UAV.
She's gonna film it, I think. She's filming the wall. of you were like, oh, I appreciated the reflection thing. Oh. You need to ask her about it. You have to time it.
If you were looking out the window and seeing him and like that, you mean? Yeah. that would
Just
be
have
so
somebody with
cute.
their phone just filming that and be like,
Oh, yeah, that would be totally the real world.
yeah. I'm gonna get somebody. What do you tell?
All right.
Yeah, that would be cute.
All right, so let's turn Palmer around.
Come dude. He's probably been screaming at the camera. Turn me
He's not watching. He's not
Yeah, he
watching.
watches
He'll be
it,
watching. He'll
though.
watch it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was able to see. I don't remember what he was able to see. All right, you just have to wait. It's going to be a huge file, Palmer. Hour and a half of our meeting. Okay. All right. So.
Get used to it.
All right. So the first thing that we will need to do is we will need to add in. Let's see. Hang on. I forgot to export the. I need to export the new footage right here. So. Again, just remember, Filmic Pro basically saves it in its own little camera roll, and you have to actually put it onto your device's camera roll in order to have access to it. So we're going to start off by importing our effects. In this case, the effects is going to be the background. Now you'll notice we've already got an issue, and this may be where our problem is that it auto rotates. So I think I'm going to have to do this again, but I'm going to have to fix it so that we're not auto-rotating. Because we're going to have footage in two different ways. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Wrong one. Okay. Orientation lock. Okay, so we're going to have to do this again. But we're going to have to have it be orientation lock so that it still treats it like it's horizontal. Okay? So hang on, we're going to film this again.
Super interesting.
So long that the old narrator quit and they have to hire a new one. He didn't just quit, he died of old age.
We need one of those, like, you know those suits you can get from
Yes.
the...
Okay, so orientation lock. We should be able to do this. This is one of the things I really love about filmmaking on a mobile device is it forces you to think outside of the box. You ask yourself, this is what I want
Outside
to
of the
do.
phone case.
How can I, outside of the phone case, outside of everything. Okay, so we are going to, all right. Oh, let's try again, okay. So we're going to import the effects, we're going to import from here. We're going to import our new one, which is sideways, which is what we need. Now again, we'll have it this way, but he's going to still look like he's oriented the same way. The big question as to whether we can sell it is going to be whether we can bring it into another program and rotate it. And if that's the case, then we're in business. We're not going to need to chroma key anything out. We're going to say, this is called wall. Okay.
Wall man.
So now we're going to do Spider-Man.
Spider-Moon.
Spider-Man.
We were trying to figure out when we were in New York, like they had all these actors or people pretending to be Spider-Man so that people could pay them money and they get their picture made with them, right? And it was great because we were walking around, there's like a group of like 8 or 9 of them. It's like, what is the plural of Spider-Man? You know, is it Spider-Man? Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
All right, so we're importing. All right, here's this. So we're going to have to key, this is the one we're going to use. We're going to import it and then we're going to key out the colors. So yes, we're going to need to do that. So we're going to start off here. Okay, too much.
No!
No,
All right, so we're gonna
Screens.
do it like, let's see. Still getting the tip of his nose. All right, so we're gonna do that. We'll do it a couple of times so that we can get the right colors out.
My back.
Now, we might also want to like drop the camera lower, right? So that we get a different, and you notice I'm moving the camera forward so that I can see since he's starting out of frame. Again, we'd do so much better if we had some lights that were different. I was planning initially to bring, I've got some different lights, but again, not, my husband's out of town at a convention, and it was one of those things where if I had the truck, if I kept the truck, no one would be available to, no one was gonna be available to actually, pick him up at the airport on Sunday. All right, we're gonna leave the little speckles. I think this will work okay. All right, so we're gonna go with this. We're gonna add our effects, which is always under,
I'm pretty sure you can, just in the normal photos thing, you can adjust
Yes.
it to where it's sideways.
well, I remember playing with it for probably about 5 hours after that Harry Potter one, trying to make it look better, and I don't remember that I was actually able to do it. So, so I, you know, it's possible, but I like I said, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I remember struggling with it and finally kind of giving up.
I mean, after 5 hours, you
I mean,
stayed at
you
it
know,
for a while.
To get things ready so that they can go on like our Facebook or our Instagram account, I usually try to like play with them a little bit more. Just, you know, people that are not in the class, you know, if all they've got to judge our class on is what we put on the,
better
you know,
be
it needs to be a little bit better because they're not here realizing that that's an issue. Okay, so, all right, so we already see a problem is he's too low down, right? Okay, so we're gonna edit because you can actually,
Move the original.
yes.
Shabam.
I'm gonna move him forward a little bit so we can see him, and we're gonna move him up.
Look at it, bang! Look at that.
No, your
That
dream
was a
came
lot louder
true.
than I expected.
Spider-Man.
Okay, so I think he's up enough. We're gonna compose again
Yeah.
and see if we've got him in the right spot. And you can actually pinch and zoom to make them bigger or smaller as well. So that's kind of awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You could make, and you wouldn't notice all the little bits that were taken out quite as much either. Now, I'm not sure, but like in a desktop program, you'd be able to change the size of that layer over time. So you would actually be able to green screen and then make a person be smaller as they're moving through the scene. All right, we're close.
One hand's floating.
Yeah, well, like I say, this is probably not the perfect, I mean, our angle was a little too high when we shot him. We would need to be kind of like on his level, but that's still pretty
good.
decent, right? Especially
Close
for
enough.
something we didn't plan for ahead of time. Let's see if we can like rotate him a little bit.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
All right, so we're editing that main video. We're moving it forward a little bit, right? And actually, it looks to me like we might be able to do some of that with what they're calling tweening points. Okay, let's see.
Let's try this again.
Well, actually, this one doesn't look like it'll let us rotate. It'll let us
It
move.
almost looks like
You can be Ant-Man, he can be tiny.
We could have him climbing up like the little thingy there.
He really can be Spider-Man. He'll be the
Anything
size of a
like
giant spider.
Going up the ladders.
Oh, this will look so cool.
Yeah.
Make him go up the little water thing. The go-to thing.
So he is a spider.
Well, that's a little harder because he's coming into frame.
He'd
You know.
be half a spider.
Let's start him. Let's put him right here.
Shibbity-beep-doo. He can
And let's try
shrink
that.
and he has the powers of Spider-Man.
That's
He really is
Ant-Man and
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's Ant-Man and Spider-Man put together.
He's
The
the
ant
size of
spider.
the actual spider.
We just
Spant.
call him
Spant.
Spant Man. Sounds like a shit name.
It's really bad.
The new Spider-Man movie looks good too, though, by the way.
Yeah, you know the guy. I don't know if I said this, but he's actually not from America.
He's
at all.
British. It's
Yeah,
so
like,
crazy.
You
to
from
hear
plays
him.
Spider-Man. He's
Yes,
supposed to be a
look,
New
here we
Yorker.
That is awesome.
The thing
And
is,
then
that
someone
actually
just
works
comes over here
better.
and pushes him.
It's,
He's not gonna get all the way because we didn't have him crawl out of.
oh
snow.
no.
He's just too.
I can
lazy
see a
to climb all the
problem.
way up.
Now,
What?
the
Hey,
shaking,
Charlie,
the shaking of the background, yeah, that's the only problem there. Okay, so the shaking of the camera could have been fixed by locking it down on a tripod, which when you're doing green screen stuff, I highly recommend things get locked down on the tripod. But yeah, that's actually pretty funny.
Perfect. Go to get a bug squatter and then
It's
it's on.
So, this would be the kind of thing, if you wanted him to do that whole thing, I wonder if it would be possible for us. Well, the only other possible thing would be, and I'm not gonna do it because I wanna be able to, I wanna be able to keep this. But the only other thing I would think would be I think we may be able to go into the FX and we may be able to like essentially zoom in closer, but then again, it's funnier this way. So for instance, if we wanted to, what we could do would be to, my green screen holder, the backdrop holder, can actually be longer. So that's a rectangle, and I've got it so that the longest edge is hanging down. What we would be able to do would be to add some more bars so that it's stretched out longer, put it closer to the floor, actually let it come out on the floor so that he could go across and have a longer amount that we were filming him, and then it would be better here. We might be able to, in this screen, be able to deal with the wall. This is the wall itself, which means I could probably zoom it in so that, so that it looked like you were crawling further across it, but I don't think that's
Have like an
what we
edited
want to do.
ice water just going, and that's why he disappeared.
That could be awesome. Yes. We don't have a fly swatter today, but we could totally do
Or we
that.
can just make him squirt. We can just squirt.
But see, that's where
That's on the
where planning things out ahead of time, actually works. Where you could
Nice.
you could have your actor just all of a sudden hit the deck, right, completely flat,
Or, like jumping on a giant cup and just go.
Yes. All right, so we discovered that as long as we film it correctly using orientation lock in Filmic, then we can use this green screen program. Like I said, I have not played with it. I'm not sure if I got it on this new iPad. Let me see. I think it's on my phone, and I can't look at it right now. There's a new there was a new one a new video editor that seemed to have green screen built in. Again, right now my favorite one to edit with is that top left LumaFusion, which again I think is about $15 to $20. LumaClip though is the third one. It's done by the same people. LumaClip has a lot of the same bells and whistles, and I think it's $4.99, I think. Has anybody, I put it out on Slack, has anybody had an opportunity to play with the updated version? Where did it go? The updated version of Filmora Go, bottom row, second over. I need to decide with the newer kids whether we're gonna stick with this or not. Let's see. They've evidently got Filmora for desktop, which you should be able to like put the files back and forth between what you've shot on what you do on your device and the desktop. In the store, just so you guys know, where it says purchase, those are things you have to pay for, but like for instance, some of these say free, right? So go in and tap them and it'll download. So color presets are, I think they've got a video that you can actually see where you should be able to, let's see what this does.
Here it is.
Where you're able to change the color on the device. Well, that didn't show us much. Good job.
That was nice.
So, okay, so but I think it's just showing you the colors is what it is. So there's one color, this is C1, this is C2, C3, C4.
I bet she's gonna be. You were waiting for that one.
You got black and white, duotone, I don't know the degree.
MP5.
Usually with duotone, what they allow you to do is in photography, they let you pick 2 colors, and those are the 2 colors that kind of get used. But anyway, if you're already using Filmora, go ahead and download the things that they give you for free. Light leaks make it look like, you know, light is leaking in. It's an old photography thing. Film reel, this is should be meant to look like you're shooting on old footage.
With the little black specks.
Yes, which I have to say I've got a better app for that. Okay, see that looks old. If you shot at a smaller frame rate, so that's basically an overlay on top of what you've already filmed. If you shoot at like 24 or even 18 frames per second, and you put that on the top, you'd wind up looking a whole lot like that's what you were doing. If you guys are interested in making something look like it, top left, 8mm, that's the app I recommend. This one, you see live what it looks like. You can change to have different, like you could have that around it. Then 1920s,
Well, we can make a dang
1970s.
We can make a
Sakura.
Fruit Loop.
I love you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
We can make it.
Looks like it's trying to freak out. Now, the fun thing about this is as you're filming, you can press that button at the bottom right and you can make the frame jump. So you can, as you're filming, you can do that. You can take out the sound and add in the sound of like like you're playing it back on a projector, exactly. And I have noticed, and this is the best thing, is you can, the bottom left where you see it looks like a piece of film, you can actually import footage that you've shot in another video app directly in, and you can actually play it, and as it's going, you can just randomly make it jump.
Oh, wow.
One of the ideas for our film is the idea that how did they hear about the PB&J sandwiches? So one of the ideas I'm passing
Flashback.
is
Yeah.
actually, I mean, well, yeah, maybe. I mean,
They
if
come
we're
here
going to show the
every
city,
every decade.
if we're going to show the Duck City, maybe the Ducks have intercepted one of our old like 1950s commercials for like Wonder Bread and whatever.
Yeah.
So we may be using this to
They
kind of
found
come up with an old looking thing that beamed out into space that they eventually got. All right, guys, it is 10:30. Anybody have any questions?
What time is it?
It's 10:27.
That's what I thought.
Ha ha.
Not 10:30 yet.
We have 3 minutes for questions. How about that? A couple of other ways you can do green screen, and again, it's when you're doing green screen, it really just matters that the person that's in front of it is not wearing a color that is close to whatever it is. It could be any color whatsoever. So it can be blue screen, it can be green screen.
Purple.
You know, unless maybe you wanted to take that out. If you wanted to do an invisibility cloak, what you do is you take that and you just wrap it around the person, you know, and you just have a head, right?
Tape stuff.
So you know, there are some limits to what you can do with the OS devices. I mean, you're obviously going to hit limits on some of that, but otherwise
Prevent's more of a challenge.
it
That
is
makes
more of a
it
challenge, yes.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so let's say you didn't have lots of lights. One possible thing is, you guys have seen those foam board pieces. They're white. Usually you can put push pins in them and use them for like display boards or whatever. Or even the trifold boards for science fair projects. Things like that are white bounce light. Okay, they're light modifiers. You can have somebody.
Pictures.
Yes, you could have somebody off screen that's using the white to bounce the light back down to where you need it. You just need somebody to be able to to put it the right way. So even if you said to yourself, okay, I have to film with whatever light I have because I don't have any extras, that would be a way to do it. They're really super cheap. Have you ever seen those? They've got like a bright metal dish and the light screws in the center and the back part of it's a clamp that you see in like garages. Have you ever seen those? Those things are like dirt. They're like dirt cheap. They're dirt cheap at like
The ones that
Lowe's
get
or
really
Walmart. Let me see.
Dad probably has some, I just don't know.
You might. I mean, I bought some cheap ones. They do clamp down on things.
Oh, we
Like-
have some of those for our chickens that we had.
There you go.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
same actually.
All right, hang on. It's coming up. Like that.
Yeah.
Bam. I actually have.
Those things are great. And what I've done before is I've used a light stand, like a stand,
Uh-huh.
and gaff tape, and I clamp it at
10:30,
the top,
time to go.
and I go through and I tape it so that it won't go, and then you can kind of adjust it a little bit. When I shot the commercial for the Kiwanis, I shot it underneath my deck, and I didn't want directional shadows, so I went ahead and clamped them up top, and the lights came down and kind of overlapped each other so that everything was evenly lit from above. I've got 2 or 3 of those, and I bought some light bulbs from one of the places where you could actually, get away from there. I use some light bulbs that are supposed to be more balanced for daylight, kind of, you can buy more expensive light bulbs for stuff like that. The one thing I would be careful is when you are filming video, if you are using anything that has like an LED light, they pulse funny. We don't see it, the human eye doesn't see it, but next time it comes around Christmas, try doing a video, if you're using the small LEDs on your Christmas light, try filming that. It flickers in a really weird way. So you're
All our
like,
Christmas trees have LED lights.
well, yeah, ours do now
We
too.
have tons of
But
LED
yeah, it
lights in our
totally
house.
flickers in a weird way that the human eye doesn't pick up, but this is picking it up in a different frame rate essentially. So you have to be careful because unless you want the light to be weird and flickery, it may not be the best thing to use for video stuff.
For a horror movie, maybe.
Yeah.
But you probably want it flickering more deliberately,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Is it
the
flickering,
emergency
like,
lights
constant,
going off,
like-
right? Where it's like, it's like maybe doing it in
Yeah.
time with like a siren or something.
Yeah.
I'm still getting ideas.
Okay, Palmer, that was it.
Yep. We're
Goodbye.
done. Might want to
We're-
stop.
we're
Have fun
finished.
Stop
watching
watching now.
We're stopping.
Go away.
Okay,
What are you doing
we're
here?
stopping. Goodbye.
Adios.
Goodbye. Everybody say goodbye.
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 No.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
End of the lesson. Running out of battery. We're fading fast.
No.
There we go. Oh no, we dabbed across. Okay, that's it. And
The dad